you will hear a newsreader reading the local news. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Listen carefully to the news and answer questions 11 to 20. It's now 6:30 on Little Tipton Radio and time for the local news. First, the headlines. A light aircraft crash landed at Tipton Airport, causing disruption to normal schedules. The water to Tipton and surrounding areas has been turned off temporarily due to depleted reservoirs. Protesters continue to occupy the site of the proposed new museum in the town centre, and dustmen are on strike over pay and working conditions, which will create quite a stink in this weather. On a happier note, local MP Nigel Poulsen will tomorrow open the recently refurbished Lido, which will be welcome to those wanting to take a dip in this heatwave we're having. And the Summer Fete will be taking place as usual despite fears of cancellation on Saturday at the Youth Centre and Recreation Ground in Willows Road. Holidaymakers had their flights delayed when a light aircraft was forced to crash land after what is thought to be engine failure. Luckily, neither the pilot nor the 3 passengers on board were seriously hurt. Bystanders said they heard the engine sputter, then fall silent, then watched anxiously as the plane tried to land in a strong wind. Emergency services were quickly on the scene and were able to clear the plane and some oil spillage from the runway, which was operational again within 4 hours. In more airport news, a spokesman has said that they hope to create another 2,500 jobs in the next 10 years. This is in part due to the permission to expand the working hours of the airport and more commercial airlines asking to use the airport, which is definitely good news for Tipton. Residents of Tipton and areas served by the Tipton Reservoir found themselves without water today, as the authorities closed down the reservoir because of depleted water supply. This is in part due to the long spell of hot, dry weather we've been having, and to the burst water main on Crabtree Road, which has been causing problems for the past 3 days. Residents have complained that the authorities still haven't replaced pipes that date back to the reign of Queen Victoria, and that this sort of problem will go on being a threat until they do. Bottles of courtesy water for cooking and drinking are available at community centres and the town hall. Protesters are occupying the site of the new museum in Old Street for the 5th day in a row. The go-ahead for the building of the new museum was granted last week. The protesters complain that the proposed building does not fit in with the traditional architecture of the town and is, to quote their spokesman, a modernist monstrosity. Opinion is divided over the new building, a growing number agreeing with the protesters that it is ugly and unsuitable, while others feel it is a welcome new addition, giving the town a more modern feel and attracting more visitors. The protest is holding up building work and costing both the council, which includes us the taxpayers, and the building contractors several £1,000s a day. The authorities are seeking advice from the police as to the best method to end the protest and disperse the squatters. In other news, that is the end of Section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3.